Hello, business partners. My name is Clantus and welcome to Clantus on Business. So without further ado, let's get into the video. But before I get into the video, I'm in a different environment. I'm actually at the office and I decided to sit in this office with better lighting because I'm sitting right across the window to get the natural light into the office so I'm able to be visible. Anyways, guys, I may finish this video later on, but when I'm at home, because I have about 15 minutes before I start work. So I thought, let me tell you this disclaimer in case you're wondering why the video is changing. And I might also even be walking around during the course of the video, like different scenery, because like I said, I'm busy. So let's get into the video. So today's video is almost like a motivational type of video regarding your own goals in life. So I want to tell a story time about an experience that I had when I just finished high school. And just before I finished high school, I used to be this kid who always thought, you know what, I am going to be the richest person in South Africa. I'm going to be part of that 1% of rich people in South Africa. And of course, I had a business plan. I devised a business plan that I've been working on since grade 10. And I knew that once I've graduated from high school, I was going to pursue this dream. Yes, I came from a poverty-stricken background and I did not have capital to start off this business. However, South Africa, around because I'm matriculated, or I finished high school in year 2000, there was a financial institution for youth to establish businesses. I'll get to that at a later stage in this story. So I was looking forward. I was looking forward to finishing high school. I was looking forward to starting the business. Of course, I did not have any intentions of going to university because I really thought, you know what, this is my life plan. This is the business that's going to take me to South Africa's 1% wealthiest people. And then I knew from the bottom of my heart that this business plan was going to get me there. So, of course, over the years while I was in high school, because in high school, you are in access of so many things. At the time, we did not have the internet the way we have the internet today. So I would go into encyclopedias. Remember encyclopedias? Oh my goodness. I went into the school's encyclopedia searching how to create a business plan, how a business plan looks like, what is a business plan, and all of those stuff. And then I put it, and so I solidify everything to the last T, including market research, including the SWOT analysis and competition. You name it, everything was put in one business plan. And then I was refining it over the years. By the time I got to matric, I knew that all I had to do was to take this business plan, type it out, and then take it to this youth financial institution that was going to loan me the money for my business capital. Anyways, so what happened was I then matriculated, and then my mother thought that I was going to medical school because for the longest time I wanted to be a doctor, and I have also put out my applications at medical schools around the country, and all of them actually accepted me provisionally, meaning that they were waiting for my matric certificate. I think in other parts of the world it's called a senior certificate, or no, a senior certificate, so it's called, yeah, in South Africa, but a high school diploma. I think that's what it's called other places, a high school diploma. So we're just waiting for that just to confirm that indeed I fit the criteria of that medical school in terms of points and all that stuff. So of course, I did not submit my high school diploma to any medical school, and my mom didn't know that. But when she did find out, when everybody was starting to go to university and I was sitting at home, and she was like, and then I had to tell her, actually, I have a plan and I want to pursue this plan rather than going to university. She was angry. She was off the roof. And another thing that she did not know as well was that I actually had changed my mind about going to medical school, but instead I was going to law school, because actually the acceptance letters that I've received, they were from law schools around the country, like University of Cape Town, Wits University, back it used to be Rand Afrikaans University, today it's called Johannesburg University, I remember I was also accepted at UKZN. It was not called UKZN then. It was called Durban Westville campus, where I was accepted into the law program and places like that. Yes, I was also accepted by Wits University Medical School. I did not go to all of that. I did not submit my matric certificate. But anyways, what had happened was I continued to refine my business plan, and then eventually, I remember very well, it must have been around April of year 2000. This is now I'm done with high school, and now I'm going to submit my business plan to Umsobomvu. That's what it was called, Umsobomvu. It was called Umsobomvu Youth Business something, I think. But what they do there is that they grant loans for young people, like youth, to establish businesses. Back then in year 2000, I think all the way to about 2007, 2008, there used to be this buzzword called SME. Remember SMEs? They were talking about SMEs, that is small, medium enterprises. And I knew that my business was going to start at that level and then blow up into what was going to add me as one of the 1% wealthiest people in South Africa. Yes, I had dreams. My dreams were huge, you guys. They were near impossible for me not to have persuaded them. Anyways, I do go to Umsobomvu. I make an appointment, and then they want you to know when you make the appointment, you basically submit your business plan. So what they do, I think there's a panel of experts that sits behind the scenes without us knowing about it, and then they go through the business plans, and then they will call you or they will send you a snail mail basically inviting you for an interview if there is something they don't understand, or maybe they want clarity in something that is in your business plan, or maybe they want you to present the business plan orally so that they are confident to give you the capital, knowing that if they give you the capital, chances of you succeeding are great. So anyways, I do go there, and then I meet a very rude secretary, or like the front office person who was chewing gum, disinterested, but of course they needed to do their job. And then so I submit my business plan to this individual, and then without even looking me in the eye, I was like, okay, you're gonna get a call. And then he continued doing whatever he was doing. I went home very chuffed with myself. I was so confident. I even remember telling my mom, listen, I'm just going to take this year alone. If what I'm planning does not work, I promise you I'm going to go to university. But then I also dropped this new bombshell that actually I'm no longer interested in becoming a doctor. For the longest time, I've been taking an interest in law, and I believe I'm going to law school. And then I show her all these letters of acceptance. All of them were provisional acceptance because they were going to become official once I've submitted my matric results. And they, because at the time, I don't know now how they do it. At the time, you entered Wits University, because that's the university I wanted to go to, Wits. That was my dream university to go to. To admitted to law program at Wits University, you need to have 46 points. I think for medical school at Wits, they needed about 46 points as well. And then I had exceeded those points anyways with just my grade 11 results. So now they wanted the matric results to basically solidify that indeed I did pass matric, and also I meet the criteria to go to law school. And then I told my mom, I think I'm just going to be a lawyer instead of a doctor. She was not disappointed, because you know our parents, right? It's either you become a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or a policeman or woman or something like that, and they will be appeased. So she was like, oh no, that's still okay. Whether you're a doctor or you're a lawyer, I'm fine. What she was not having is the fact that I was actually not going to going to university. And the other thing that also really made her angry is the fact that I had a scholarship from my high school, so that I would not have a problem going through university and furthering my studies, because I come from a poverty-stricken background. So my mom would not have been able to afford registration, tuition fees, textbooks, and accommodation at the same time. So all of that, I kind of like lost it. because I was pursuing a dream of becoming South Africa's 1% wealthiest people. You know, the audacity of this boy. But then again, in hindsight, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I was young. You know, young people, this is what we do, we dream. And I'm sure you too, at some point, you told yourself that, you know what, I'm going to be the reason the poverty cycle in this family is broken. You probably have told yourself, or even at least fantasized of being a rich person, of being a businesswoman or a businessman, globe-trotting and all of that stuff that you probably dreamt of, because I dreamt of those things too. And then I knew that I was taking that the business route in my life, and that I was going to become a business person. In as much as I believed in education, but I also thought, you know what, I will get the education while I'm also running a multi-million-dollar, yes, multi-million-dollar conglomerate. Yes, all those big words, I used them when I was putting together my business plan. So not so long, about 2 weeks after I've submitted my business plan at Umsobomvu, I do get a call. They give me a call and say, hey, listen, we would like to get some clarifications here and there regarding your business plan. So at this point, what they do is they will allocate you a consultant. There's a person that they allocate you, and this consultant is the same person that is going to manage you for the next, I think for the next 3 years, making sure that everything that you wrote or that you've put down in your business plan is followed, or it is executed, so that you do not fail and then they lose out on their money. And secondly, you also get taught about how a new business, if it survives 2 years and then it enters the 3rd year and it's still in business and it's making a profit, the chances of it succeeding in a long term are pretty high. So all those stuff that consultant is going to go take with you till when the contract or that agreement between the two of you gets terminated. But at the same time, the consultants, their job is to also look after the loan, ensuring that the loan is paid as per the agreement, whatever percentage that you may have agreed with Umsobomvu. I think they also take about 2% ownership of the business as well, because they also need to make money so that they can loan more young people money and those sort of things. Okay, fine, I do go. I remember this would be like late April, if not early May of year 2000. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I could literally see myself in a corner office and driving these mad expensive cars, living. Back then, Sandton was not what Sandton is today, even though it was still Sandton. And I was imagining myself living there as one of the youngest, richest people in South Africa. Oh my goodness, thinking about it is cringeworthy. But anyways, I was young, and the world was my oyster. Anyways, then eventually I do go there. I remember my appointment was at 11, and then I had this consultant, this young man as well, sat across him, and then he had my business plan, and he was just flipping through it, and he says, this is a very well comprehensive and well-researched business plan. Who helped you? I said, no, I did it myself. I've been busy with this business plan since I was in grade 10. They were like, in grade 10? Why in grade 10? I'm like, well, for some reason, something just hit me that, hey, you are a businessman. And so I started doing some research about business. Can you imagine? I was doing sciences at school. All my subjects were sciences because I had the intentions of going to medical school. So when I got to grade 10, I added one more subject onto my sciences, which was business and economics. You remember that subject? I don't know what it's called today. It was called business economics back in my days. I added that. And then if you know anything about business economics, you are going to learn everything about business and economics. You are going to learn about the stock market. You're going to learn about business and different kinds of businesses, like private business or private companies, sole propriety. You will learn about all those things. And for me, I found myself being so alive in that class, even though I got the class after school, because of course during the day my periods were around the science subjects that I took. So I did the business economics after school. So basically I would go to Saturday school at Wits University, where they would teach us these subjects but those classes were provided for students that were struggling at school. But for me, because I was not struggling and it's a subject that was new to me, they accepted me. And I was thriving in that subject, I remember very well, and I loved it. So as a result of that, I was taking all these knowledge that we were being taught in business economics classes, and that's how I compiled my own business plan. And like I said, we did not have internet like we have it today, so I would go to Wits University library. What was that library called again? There's a library at Wits University that I went to, where I would sit down and I would read business books. I was now business minded through and through, and so that is why I was able to put together a comprehensive business plan. And I'm telling this to the consultant. He was very impressed. I was like, this is very impressive. There's nothing that I really want to ask you about the business plan. The only thing that I wanted to ask from you is that who helped you, because with Umsobomvu as well, they also have like these experts that help you with to compile a business plan, but they charge money. And the amount of money that they were charging at that time in year 2000, 15,000 Rand was a lot. It was money that, of course, I would not have been able to afford. And so they give you these consultants, these business plan consultants. If your business plan had some discrepancies or misunderstand, or maybe it was not well researched or well put together, so then they will hand you over to these experts who are going to sit with you down. But you needed to pay before they will sit down with you. So with me, there was no need for them to sit down with me. And then I was told that, okay, it looks like you are going to get the loan. And I remember very well, my loan was 2 million Rand to start the business. And that's what I broke it down to the last cent, where this money is going to, where my offices are going to be operating from. You name it, how much the rent is going to be. If I have staff, how much the staff is going to earn a month. Basically, all the expenditures of the business, where they were going to go to, and all of that stuff. Okay, they were quite impressed with that, and they told me, this consultant is like, okay, I'm going to call you in a few weeks or so, and then we'll call you to bring to us the bank account, and then we will put the money in there, and then I will carry you or hold your hand for the next 3 years and ensuring that this business blossoms. I was excited. I went home. Now tell me, why 3 weeks later, I'm not getting a call? A month later, I'm not getting a call. 3 months later, no call. About the 6th month, I was like, no, man. This is like towards the end of the year. I'm like, by now my business is supposed to be operating. By now my business is supposed to have made at least profit or some kind of surplus and starting to pay off this loan. I thought that. That's what I was thinking. Then I was like, no, let me go down to Umsobomvu. Umsobomvu at the time its headquarters used to be in Marshalltown, downtown Johannesburg. Marshalltown, but then the mine chamber side of the city. And then I went there, and then of course, once again, I met the attitudinal receptionist, and then I asked if I could see the consultant. I'm not going to mention names. They were like, okay, they called, I don't know who they called. Somebody answered and said, oh no, that person resigned about 7 months ago. About 7 months ago, they resigned. I'm like, okay, what about my business plan? So I give them the reference number, that this is the reference number that I was given for my business plan. So they go through the computer. It's nowhere to be seen. They're like, this is untraceable. I'm like, untraceable how? They're like, that means you did not submit a business plan. I'm like, no, I did submit a business plan. And then I showed them the letter that I had with the consultant. And I'm like, this is the letter. You can't get this letter without have submitted a business plan. They all agreed that, like, indeed. So they had to go get a manager that is in charge of all of this. Now, of course, it was a futile exercise. I went back home wailing. I was crying. I was so disappointed. Where am I going to get this consultant from? Where am I going to get this person from? So I did not know what was going on, but I tried to inquire as much as I could all the way into 2001. Then I realized I was fighting a losing battle, and this is salt to injury. Now, remember, I come from a poverty-stricken background. I don't have much money. And then what I used to type my business plan was money that I had to raise by washing other people's laundry, washing other people's carpets and cars, in order for me to be able to get money and go and type this business plan in a professional way. I remember I was charged something like 250 Rand for that. Now, I did not have 250 Rand to retype my business plan. And secondly, back then we did not have like USBs and what. We had floppy disk. Remember floppy disks? And that floppy disk did not belong to me. It belonged to a friend of mine whom I was a classmate with in high school, who went to Cook Island Medical School. Cook Island is somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. It's far away from South Africa. So he left with a floppy disk with my business plan in there. Now, tell me, what do I do? I have nothing to show, nothing. Even if I had to go to court, how do I prove it that I submitted a business plan? So, of course, that shot my confidence, everything that I ever believed in, down. Basically killed my dream. And then now I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my mom, who is furious that I've lost a scholarship, that possibly I might never go to university in my entire life because we'll not be able to afford registration alone, let alone the textbooks and the transportation and all of that stuff. I was regretting it. But at the same time, how do you blame a young man who had a dream, right? So I thought to myself, oh my goodness, what do I do now? So of course I had to go and work. Now, as I was busy working, doing things, tell me, why do I see my business plan all over? I'm like, this business looks familiar. This business looks familiar. I'm like, nah, this business looks familiar. Now, this business now is in action. I'm like, this business looks familiar. I'm not going to mention, and I'll tell you why I'm not going to mention what that business is. To this very day, still exists. I'm like, this business is mine. Then I started inquiring, who is the owner of this business? Tell me why I'm told the owner of this business is the guy that was my consultant. Yep. The guy that Umsobomvu allocated to me is the owner of that business. And I knew right there and there that he stole my business idea. Then I did a little bit digging. Turns out that actually the ownership of the business is his brother. So what he had done was he took out all of my details, my personal details, in the cover page and all of that, and added his brother as the owner of the business plan. And of course, Umsobomvu granted him the 2 million Rand. 2 million Rand was supposed to come to me, went to this guy's brother. But now everybody says the owner of the business is actually him, not the brother. Because the brother is mentally not well. So obviously a mentally not well person can't run businesses at least by themselves. They need to have either a guidance of some sort. And so he was the guardian of the brother. I was like, now what do I do? I think he found out somehow that I was doing some digging. The next thing I received was a letter from the lawyers. Now remember, I'm nobody. I'm poor. I work and get peanuts. I just finished high school. Everything of my dream has been shot. And so I'm getting a lawyer's letter and I am terrified. at what I am reading, and I'm thinking, oh my, and I don't have money to go consult a lawyer and say, hey, I got this letter, what does it mean? What do I do? But the letter was accompanied by an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Now, this non-disclosure agreement, it stops me from ever talking about the business, particularly mentioning the name of the business and the owner of the business. I can talk about it if I want to, but I'm not allowed to talk about the name of the business. I'm also not allowed to talk about the name of the owner of the business. So now, of course, I'm terrified. What does a 20-year-old do? A 20-year-old will sign because it's terrified. Like, oh my goodness, I may get arrested. So I sign it and then send it back to the lawyers. So that is why to this very day, I can't talk about that business. I can't say anything about it. I can't even take them to court for that matter. And even if I did take them to court, remember the original copies of my business plan is in a floppy disk that left the country with my schoolmate who was my friend in high school. I may never get that, the originals, even if I had to go to court and fight my business idea. However, though, know that karma does do its thing as well, because I found out about 12 or 13 years ago that this guy who stole my business plan died a horrible death. He was busy building a mansion in his home village, wherever he came from. And then, you know those trucks, the cement trucks that has, I don't know, that tank that turns, obviously, I think it is mixing the water and the cement and all that stuff for the foundation. Yeah, apparently that truck arrived at his homestead where he was building this mansion. The truck and his car were parked parallel to each other. But somehow, the truck, when it stopped next to his car, he was inside. He was busy writing something, or maybe he was talking to someone on the phone, whatever the case was, but he was in the car. But when this truck stopped next to his car, it kind of like tinted over. And when it tinted over, it collapsed right on top of his car, smashing him into a flat. It was horrible. That's all I was told, that he died a horrible death. And then, of course, I'm not going to celebrate that. In my mind, I'm like, okay, karma, they do say, is that, you know, and maybe it has come and collect. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't know how am I supposed to feel about this when I was told this. And who is telling me this? It is the other brother who had to look for me, because apparently there are other things that are taking place in the family. So they think that I cursed them. I said, I did not curse anybody. I cried about it, yes. And one thing I do know, and I was always taught at home, is that never cause pain to somebody and never let somebody's tear fall to the ground, because you are going to get cursed. So I did not curse anybody. I was angry with myself more than I was angry with the consultant, because of course I trusted the consultant in good faith, knowing that they were employees that were going to help us, mentor us into success. So basically that was the story about me thinking that I was going to be one of the 1% wealthiest people in South Africa. However, though, the lesson that I want to teach you today is that, I think I'm going to finish this video here. The lesson that I want to teach you here is that in the midst of everything that is going on. So basically the moral of the story is that, you know, in life you are going to go through something, especially when you are naive and yet you are filled with these hopes and dreams that one day I'm going to be something. You know what I love about the 21st century is that we no longer have to think the way we used to think before when it came to making money or becoming rich. These days, you are making money in the comfort of your home, right there in bed with your cell phone, and you are able to make hundreds of US dollars per week, sometimes even thousands of US dollars per week, simply because you have a gadget called a cell phone. I believe that once you have a mobile phone, you are in business. The only thing that probably would be a bit of a challenge is, where do I get data, or where do I get Wi-Fi? But these days as well, there are some hotspots that government have provided for the citizens to go to and be able to, I don't know, do whatever it is that they want to do to using the free Wi-Fi or the free data. And then you can even go to some banks or sit outside of a bank, and then you are able to connect your device with the Wi-Fi of that bank and able to upload YouTube videos, to upload photos on Instagram, to upload whatever it is that you, or maybe you have a digital course you want to teach people about how to do something, or whatever it is that you want the world to know. You put it in a digital product, and then you sell it online. People make hundreds of thousands of dollars selling digital products. So like digital courses, this is something that I'm actually delving in right now. I'm busy putting together a YouTube digital product, so that if those that are interested in growing their YouTube channels or interested in starting a YouTube channel, they'll get a guideline, a very comprehensive guideline as to how they can go about that. I'm also going to create another digital product where I'm going to talk about affiliate marketing, and I am going to put it on sale online. And then I know these things do have a tendency of making money for the producer of these products. So these days, so that basically means to me that my dream is not dead. In fact, it was just put on pause, and then I needed to learn some hard lessons as I grew. And that was 23 years ago, by the way, guys, as I tell you this story of what happened. It's just so unfortunate that in this world, you will have people who are going to crook you out of your intellectual property, and then there's absolutely nothing you can do about it to get it back. So needless to say, Umsobomvu did collapse, and then today they are called a different name, which I'm not going to call. But I also heard at a later stage as well that many other young people were robbed of their business plans. Basically, the people that worked in this institution would steal the best business plans, and then the producer of the business plan, or the potential entrepreneur, will sit at home wondering, why am I not getting a call or the funds in order for me to start my business, only to find out that their business plans have been stolen. And so they had to rebrand the institution into a different name, because you know how crooks work. Today it's called a different name, and I don't think they are doing what they're supposed to be doing with those funds. It's just money that is being spent by the personnel who, by the way, come from political parties, particularly, you know which party I'm talking about. And so it's been a struggle, but it's something that I also over the years had to forgive myself for being stupid, naive. Of course, I was poor as well, because I feel like if I had a copy of my business plan, I was going to be able to substantiate it in court, or substantiate a new way of getting funding for my business. But anyways, that was that. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that today, you and I have no excuse as to why we can't be at least close to the 1% wealthiest people in South Africa, or in your country, or in the world for that matter, because the internet has given us so much opportunities. There is Shopify and drop shipping, e-commerce, basically, where you can sell things without capital, absolutely no capital. You can sell t-shirts. These are the business ideas that I'm going to be bringing to your attention in the videos that to come, that how you can start a business without capital and make hundreds of thousands of rands or hundreds of thousands of dollars wherever you may come from, simply by utilizing the internet. That is why I said, if you have a mobile phone, you are in business. The only problem probably that is going to be a challenge is data or Wi-Fi. But of course, once you start making the money, you will not struggle with data and Wi-Fi, because you'll be sitting right there in the comfort of your home and making passive incomes. I've heard people talk about having 12 income streams or having 20 income streams, and all of them, guess where they are at? They are online, in the internet. YouTube channel is part of that. Being a YouTuber is part of that. You as a brand, you are a brand yourself, that you can sell yourself to so many brands and so many companies to represent them, and then they pay you big bucks. Many big YouTubers, they make most or the bulk of their income from sponsors and brand deals and all these MC events that they go to. They get paid tens of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of rands, depending which country you come from and your own currency. And we have no excuse these days. We absolutely have no excuse. Again, the only excuse might be resources. But if you can get somebody to sponsor you for at least 6 months, for example, I spoke about affiliate marketing, how you can connect your YouTube channel with affiliate marketing. So all I'm saying is that in the 21st century, we have the opportunity now to become millionaires if we push ourselves hard enough and also we are disciplined. Discipline is the most toughest thing to do because there comes a time where you are like, should I film a video today? I'm so lazy. Or you will complain about not having enough time. We all have 24 hours in a day. It's how you utilize your 24 hours. Me, I decided that every weekends from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I sit down, I do my research for my YouTube videos. On Saturdays and Sundays, I am going to film my YouTube videos to ensure that now that I'm going to be uploading videos 3 times a week, that the following week there are 3 videos on that particular week, and so on and so forth. This side as well, I have another YouTube channel which keeps me extremely busy. And again, sometimes I do feel like, oh my goodness, I'm so lazy today, but I have to be disciplined and remind myself that, hey, remember the dream? Remember the dream of you wanting to be the 1% of richest people in the country? Well, create that video. I'm not saying that with my YouTube channel, I'm going to become a multi-billionaire. No, but at least I can work towards that and then position myself for doors of opportunity to open. Maybe I might find myself doing something that's going to earn me far more than I ever thought, better than what my YouTube channel is paying me. There are so many possibilities that are out there. They are alive and waiting for you to come and fetch them. So that's the crux of this video. I thought, let me tell you this story time about how my multi-billion-dollar business plan was stolen from me by somebody I never thought would ever do that. But again, I was young, I was naive, I knew nothing about the real world, and then I was welcomed in that most horrendous way into the big, bad, ugly world that we live in. Yes, it's only now that I'm reviving that attitude that I used to have as a youngster in my late teens into my early 20s. And of course, that was shut down. And now I see it coming back. I see myself seriously looking at myself as an entrepreneur slash businessman going forward. So there's a lot that I'm going to be doing. And I think this platform right here, I do not want to go on this journey by myself. I want to carry you with me. That is why I want to bring these business ideas to your attention. It's totally up to you what you do about it. And then if you want us to have a one-on-one interaction about these things, I have absolutely no issue with that. Like I said, I am serious about reviving my dream of becoming one of South Africa's wealthiest people. Of course, I'm older now. I'm no longer a young man, and therefore I will not be the youngest amongst the 1% richest people in South Africa. So I'm good with that. I'm okay as long as I'm able to pursue this dream to fruition. That is all that matters to me. What's very important is discipline. Just be disciplined in what you are doing as a business person. So as my business partner on YouTube, discipline is what I want to encourage you. Even when you are disappointed or discouraged or you feel a little bit lazy, get up. Remember why you started all of this. Go back to your business plan and look at your journey of becoming whatever it is that you want to become. I would assume you want to have financial freedom. You never want to be broke again. You might not want to be rich, but at least financially comfortable, be able to afford things, be able to go on a vacation somewhere without having to worry about, if I take this money, I'm going to be short of. No. Work on making sure that you never have to struggle about that ever again. So I think that is what I wanted to share in this video. I know it was a long one. I thought, let me tell this story and maybe you might take something from it, learn something from it. And if you have somebody like a child or a cousin or a relative of some sort that is thinking, who is thinking exactly the way I used to think, and then they want to hand over their business plans, you can actually give them this video to watch so that they will be careful as to not find themselves high and dry because their business ideas have been stolen. So guys, thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye.